All right, welcome to another Futures Initiative Trading Recap. Tonight it is myself and Dubster. We are rolling through our trades of today, what we like, what we didn't like, what we want to improve upon, and what we see for tomorrow. All right, Dubster, take it away.
Awesome. All right. I want to go ahead and throw it out today that early in the morning, I was extremely bearish. And even though I was extremely bearish, I expected a downside momentum and then a quick up to come to the bottom, right? And before this even happened, I had this fair value gap here and I had it on NQ. And for some weird reason, I was like, my head was stuck up my ass that I honestly totally never even caught this. And the fact that news was out and there is so much shit going on today that I forgot about my bias and I never even bothered taking a position here to the downside. And I was so focused on the upside. Reason why is because I saw a massive red candle and I was like, oh, it's gonna have to reverse. And I think that's one of the biggest issues I've had personally have recently. The fact that I have a bias and then I see a big movement and then I expect a reversal, and that has been fucking killing me. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump down to the 1 hour on NQ. I'm gonna show you guys the chart. Oh, these are quick scalps I did earlier. Um, we are looking at the perfect right here. On this specific section on the 1 hour for NQ, we have a healthy order block. Why is it a healthy order block? Because of this gap. So this became a healthy order block. Our entry points are always going to be the 0.5 of the GAN box, right? So positioning here, 0.5, this is an entry. And what is something that we tweaked from all these recaps that we have done? If you guys seen the previous videos, you guys noticed that I had started entering positions as soon as it enters a healthy order block, and then I start trimming in, right? So let me go ahead, drop down to the 5 minutes. And what happened here was that we saw a lot of consolidation as it was approaching, which that's a good thing. Once we see this consolidation approaching the healthy order block, it's a good sign for us to go in longs. So that's exactly what I did. Went ahead, as soon as I went inside here, I never actually got in this candle. Reason why is because this consolidation here, normally when there's a consolidation, I expect a longer move to the downside. So I actually got inside here. So I got in a bit later than I should have, but I had a reason behind it. So went ahead, entered 2 contracts here, let it run, came back down on the negative, went back up. Since I entered on this section here on this candle, I actually waited a bit more to do my second average. That way I'm not super close to them. And I ended up averaging around this specific candle here, somewhere around this area, and caught almost the bottom of that. So when I averaged between 2 contracts here and 2 contracts here, and obviously I wanted full position on this downside, which I never got to enter, it went up almost 30 bars. I trimmed at the 70 ticks was my final trim, but we went ahead, we trimmed 1 contract at 50 ticks. We trimmed another contract at 100 trims. I trimmed another one at 125, and my final one was at 170 ticks. So one thing I just want to say is that we followed our rules here, and the reason why I started trimming was because we just had a large move to the upside right here. So the fact that we had this consolidation in this specific area, I honestly was just targeting somewhere around here. And the reason why is because since we were very bearish, this position was not a super long term, but I did wanted to see the 2-to-1 ratio. But the fact that this consolidation was right here, I started trimming at 50 ticks and so on and so forth. Meaning said that this positioning right here, we did stay green. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go in on full position. As you guys can see, it never actually waked me in. And other than that, we stayed green on the day. We made good amounts of money and stayed true to the strategy. There's one thing I do want to say though. Let's say, for example, if I really wanted this 2-to-1 ratio right here, if I really wanted this 2-to-1 ratio and I had never trimmed, hold full contracts, wanted this specific session, as of right now, we will still be on the red, right? The question here is, should I have done that or should I have not? And I'm just currently gonna evaluate it as we go right now. But I think the fact that we were up so much was a good way to just trim. At this point, there's no need for us to even wait for full position when we're up so much. I think more than 10 bars, anything above 10 bars is good enough for us to trim. So I went ahead and did that, and I'm just currently checking to see what's gonna happen here. Obviously, if this was actually like one of our healthy order block strategies that we expect a 2-to-1 ratio minimum, we expect this to still go up to the upside. But as of right now, I am currently not holding any positions no more, and I'm just gonna go ahead and observe from the sidelines and see what happened. So that's pretty much what I have for today. Honestly, it was a news day, so I stayed pretty light. Just I did go full position size here. Obviously, I didn't get wicked in for full position, but I did have everything set up for full position. But other than that, I did stay away. I didn't want to take any other contracts, any other trades. Reason why, because it was a news day today.
Wise, very, very wise. So it was interesting to see how, although we had news today, we were still able to capitalize on our plays. Now, I understand that, we would have preferred other plays to have played out, but you know what? It was good for what we were doing at the time being. So let me go ahead and share my screen and let's roll from here. All right. So we have NQ today. This up here, I expected this. I even had called it out earlier today. Said, hey, we have a fair value gap to the top. I bet that this is going to get wicked through. We took the buy side up here. So if I believe it's even on the 4 hour. Where is that? Okay. Yeah. Ooh. But it was on the 1 hour. So it was right here that we have a fair value gap. Okay. Now we came all the way down. I saw that we had created relatively equal lows, meaning there's a very good chance that this is getting whacked. I really wanted to see up here get cracked all the highs, but I'll settle for the lows being cracked. Now, similar to what Dubster had said, we had our initial bias and we traded against it. That has been a mistake for us several times over, and it's time that we have learned from it. It does
Yes.
not need to be something that comes back again and again and again and again. This is for us to understand why it's important to trade with our bias and then force ourselves to, because if our bias is wrong, we can always learn how to shift our bias. If we continuously trade against our bias, it does not matter what our bias is because we're not holding to our plan. With that being said, this was news. I did not want to take this trade, albeit I should have. I did, however, take this trade. Stopping below the candle here, I almost took this up to the top. Now, those of you who know me and have seen the previous videos, notice how I'm saying I did not scalp. This I actually held. I was very proud that I held it. Took it for 2 minis and let it run. Now, when this thing retraced, of course, I was shaking. I should not have been. You know what? I wanted to take profit run away and be like, all right, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're done. We're done. So that's what we did. Then I went and traded on my performance account with Apex. And after the news, about 10 minutes after, I did catch some downside. Then here we took calls to the upside. I had expected much more of a retracement up, but I understand why we did not have that. So, why is it important that we went halfway to the lows today? Because it is important, even on a 15-minute chart, right? We took out the lows here, grabbed the buy side liquidity. We're not quite ready to head all the way down just yet, but this appears to be our base. Long story short, those contracts I had for the calls died. I meant just died. Non-revivable, done. Good night, Jim Kite. Bye. So instead, it did teach me a valuable lesson. There's no need to have traded those. Okay. I should have stuck with my bias, gotten in, called it a day. Now, we did take another trade, right? So I took one here, saw the long wick down, said, okay, let's try it out. Put my stop loss at the end of the wick and my take profit at the near term high. Okay. Well, at the high of the candlestick, not the wick, but just the body. So why is that important? Again, it is teaching to hold the contract. So although it wasn't a large play, it was sizable. So I did try that again here. And this time it did work. But here's the other part. It did not work here. I got in too late, came down, and got me. So that was a bad trade, but I'm glad I took it because I've been wanting to test this strategy out. Now, for those of you who've been watching, you know that Dubster and I trade SMC and ICT concepts, but we also employ various other strategies that provide different entries into the market. Now, why is that a good thing? Well, it allows us to see the market from multiple perspectives. So, knowing that we have multiple setups, we see how they can give us additional levels of confluence. So that for me is actually is very important because it helps us to trade better. And that is ultimately what we're striving for.
Yes, definitely. And one thing I do want to say, so we're currently live always. We're in a voice call, we're charting, and at the same time, we also, before market starts, we always ask for what our bias is, right? As soon as somebody else joins, we ask what their bias is. The reason why we ask for this is not because we want you to, we're expecting something wrong out of your opinions, but the reason why I ask is because maybe I'm wrong. And that's the reason why I keep asking is like, if I'm bearish and you're bullish, why am I bearish? It makes me double think myself, you know? So it's like, let me figure out why I am actually bearish. And then it's not because I want you to say, hey, like you're bullish, but I'm bearish. You should be bearish as well. It's just me trying to figure out why am I bearish if we're against each other. But for the most part, we have both been in pretty much similar biases for the day. And I think that's really good in my opinion. Reason why is because we trade together. Um, and the fact that we trade together and we both have our same confluences among each other and our within our bias is what I think has been helping us grow much more on these trades. Because I normally say, hey, like I have a healthy order block for my strategy at this specific location for longs. And you're like, okay. So and then sometimes for the most part, next thing I know, your ass is trading it all the way down to where I'm looking for. I think that's really helpful sometimes.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up. So something that we have employed in the live trading and in our various chats is tell us what your bias is. Write it out to me. Talk to me about it. Let's hear it. I want to feel why you are bearish or bullish. I want to know what are you seeing? Because like you said, we could be wrong. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and I don't ever want to throw it out of the realm of possibility. I would rather hear everyone out. On that same topic, it's also very good to know where your setups are. And this is why Dubster and I trade really well together. It's because we already know each other's setups. And so Dubster knows if I'm scalping on the way down, there's a very good chance it's because there's a longer play setting up where he's about to go long.
That's correct.
So it's really cool to see that actually. And I noticed that today, and I hadn't previously, but it made way too much sense because it was nuts just how our strategies and confluence all came together all in one. But again, we did trade against our bias, which we should not have. So for tomorrow, we cannot have that. Tomorrow, like today was the last day that we do this because we're here to grow. And this is just the next step in us growing. Now, let's talk about something cool that we're seeing here. I want to see if we can see it on the hour. Nope. Do you see on the half hour? All right. Anybody want to tell me what we're seeing here?
An imbalance.
No, sir. Try again.
And that word, I forgot the name of it. Liquidity
But
void.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have a liquidity void, meaning I have found a new target.
And the market just died.
Right in your arms tonight. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
that
on the
thing.
15-minute. I was wondering why your candle's not dropping.
Well, I'm also on like super delayed data. I mean, like my data is so
Oh, okay,
delayed.
okay.
Man, my data is so delayed. You're calling a cab to go back in time to try to find it. Like,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was still wondering why your candle wasn't going to the downside, and I got mine on this side fucking dying.
yeah, that's okay. So, but with that being said, I actually do have. So that's why I employ other platforms such as Quant Tower, Iron Beam, Thinkorswim, um, Tradeovate, even. I'm not really a huge fan of Tradeovate. I really have tried to really like it. I just don't. Oh wow. Oh wow, yeah, and this thing is gonna. take off and just keel over, maybe. I don't know. This thing looks ready to keel over. But where am I expecting price to go tomorrow? So let's go ahead and draw out that volume imbalance. Yes. There we go. One day. One day. This is actually a liquidity void. Always denote your time. Always. Save you a lot of heartache when you have a lot of zones on your chart and you're like, what am I even looking at? Okay. So we got that loaded in. Let's go to the 4 hour. What do we see? We have this large zone right here. That looks ready to be taken. So looks like we've come down. And if we look at the bodies, consequent encroachment. So looks like we are ready to head to the upside and grab, well, not on a 4 hour chart, you're not, but on a 5 minute chart, absolutely. We're ready to come and grab this near term buy side liquidity. Let's go ahead and go back down to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we do see we have this nice order block. Would love for us to trade back into. Right down here, the previous 1 hour fair value gap. So if you look, we didn't really close it out. We only, well, I guess just really paused on it. Does that make sense? We just kind of paused because we wicked through but came all the way down. So I would now expect this order block and this fair value gap to act as resistance moving forward. But if we do get this, we might tap back into that weekly fair value gap. We might. Hoping we don't, but we might just do that and then continue straight to the upside, grab all this liquidity. Oh, this liquidity is just waiting for us. So let's drop down into 15-minute. This is my target. So I'm currently long in calls now. I am going to be waiting for these to print. And then we'll continue on. So immediate move, I'm looking straight to the upside, then a retracement right before London, and then for the final piece, a sharp drop in the morning tomorrow and run straight through to the top. What about you, Dubs? What are you thinking?
I'm definitely bullish. I think the fact that there's a liquidity void is what I'll target overnight, honestly. That's what I'm looking at. But at this very moment, as long as we don't break those lows, I think we'll be fine for the upside.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Dubster, do you have any questions or concerns?
Nope, not today. Just the fact that the market has some weird movement, some New York session movement at the moment. So
Yeah, it does. I mean, we have to retrace a lot of this imbalance that we had today.
yeah,
So, no, on one hand, it's expected. On the other hand, which didn't have to happen like this, but it did.
yeah.
So, all good. I thank everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing y'all in our next episodes. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Thank you.
Bye bye.